Welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, October 14th, 2024. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, we got the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey yo.
And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer, JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are, another NBA season preview podcast. Going to be ranking all 30 teams. But before we do that, the latest inductees into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame officially enshrined on Sunday. Some great speeches from a lot of the inductees. And a great video dropped by your boys at No Dunks. Specifically, Tass and JD giving a little Vince Carter Hall of Fame career retrospection. And short little video. Highly encourage you to click that link in the show notes, obviously up on our YouTube page, of Tass talking about your love-hate relationship, sort of, in a way, with Vince Carter.
Yeah, and it's on all the social medias except TikTok. Couldn't get it there. Problems with the music, but yeah, JD did a masterful work on that to make it happen. But I had to talk about Vince. Just had to, with what he did for us as this show. Maybe this show wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Vince Carter.
Yeah.
All the fans that grew in Toronto, all the people who started playing basketball that grew in Toronto. I mean, that could have been a super long video. You could talk forever about Vince Carter, I think. Because how many series did Vince Carter win in Toronto? Only one.
One?
It feels like it was so much more impactful, right? When looking back.
Yeah, hence the hate part of the love-hate relationship.
Yeah. And he left. I mean, more so the leaving part than the not winning part.
Of course.
But it's just an interesting, unique
nuts.
career. And with the New Jersey Nets afterwards, he only got to the second round twice. Then when he got to the Orlando Magic, I thought he'd get to an NBA Finals. It was close because they made the NBA Finals and they signed Vince to replace the Hito. And after getting to the NBA Finals the year before, they got to the conference finals against the Boston Celtics when they had 157 games. They were the home team, and Boston stole both games from Orlando, those first two. It's a unique career.
Did you catch any of the speeches or highlights from yesterday's Hall of Fame?
No, I watched Tass's video.
Okay, good.
It was great. Yeah. none of my favorites were going in. I really only care about the speeches when it's guys I care about.
There was a good moment between...
What about Doug Collins? You know Doug Collins.
Illinois legend, for sure.
That's true. Yeah, it did go in. I was going to say, obviously Vince, during a speech, they have people that are already in the Hall of Fame up there on the stage with them. That was cool. Dr. J and his cousin, Tracy McGrady, and there was like some exchanges about that. That's just sort of like, just trippy, man.
That is trippy.
It's like his family member, already in the Hall of Fame. Now he's going in. And they learned later in life that they were even cousins. So weird. But there they are. Anyway, go check those out. A lot great speeches. And very cool, too, that Inside Stuff and Slam Magazine getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Sort of, I don't know what particular wing that is. I guess it's is it the Kurt Gowdy Media?
Yes, I believe so.
The Gowdy Group?
Yeah, the Gowdy Group.
Well, I'm happy for them because it means we're getting in.
That's right. It helps our chances for sure when things like that are inducted into the Hall of Fame. But anyway, go check out that video. Awesome work by Tass and JD. Okay, so we're ranking all 30 teams, obviously heading into this season. Trey and I did this last year, and look, it's difficult before they play any games to rank all of the teams across 5 tiers, and this was last season's tiers. I'm showing everyone here on YouTube. We did okay, I think, in the S tier, the title contenders. Like, not bad, some hits.
Got the title
some
winner.
misses. Exactly. We really struck out in the final Four Flirts, where we had the Lakers, Warriors, and Heat. Correct me if I'm wrong, but all 3 of those teams didn't even win a playoff series. Warriors didn't even make it.
No.
Yeah, so... tough. That was a tough one for us.
That's 3 play-in teams.
Yeah, right. So we really whiffed on that one. We'll be better this year. But you see the rest. I mean, I think we did pretty good with the lottery lads down at the bottom. Even the Rockets, who had a really good year, 41-41 in the lottery. So, not bad.
Yeah.
A little pat on the back.
Too low, the lottery
low,
lads.
yeah.
We would have had to swap
for sure.
the Nets and the Rockets to really make it sing.
So we're going to do it again. And that's what we're doing here on today's podcast. We've changed one thing when it comes to the tier names. S tier, title contenders. Sticking with that. A tier, Final Four Flirts. Love the alliteration. Then we have the B tier. That's playoff locks. C tier, play-in hopefuls. And we have changed the final tier, the D tier, from lottery lads to Flagg Seekers. because it's all about Cooper Flagg.
Yeah,
And
it just goes to show you how little hype there was for last year's draft.
That's right.
Right, because we had Area 51 when it was the Wembanyama draft and we were doing the tiers. Last year, we're just like, you can win the lottery. Who knows who you're getting? You can win it.
That's right. That's right. So let's do it. Let's jump into it. You want to start with the Eastern Conference? Do all 15 teams.
You want to start with some lottery lads?
Yeah.
The winner of the lottery lads?
Yeah, right. Yeah, last year for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go with the East, and then we'll get to the West. But we're putting them all on the same graphic there. Here we go, Hawks.
Atlanta Hawks, thanks for always being the leadoff batter when it comes to ranking teams or anything. An A in the Eastern Conference, you're getting talked about immediately. Big stuff for the Hawks this season. They traded DeJounte Murray, and they're bringing in Zachary Risachet. Other things have happened, but that's the gist of it. So where are you putting them here? Because I know it's the play-in hopefuls, too.
It has to be.
Yes.
They're not bad enough to be a Flagg Seeker. It's tough to imagine them good enough as a playoff lock or, of course, going to the Final Four again. It's got to be that tier.
Absolutely. The bar is kind of low for play-in hopefuls in the Eastern Conference. It feels like there's a bunch that could be in the play-in hopefuls. You could be a play-in hopeful with a dream of winning 35 games, essentially. There are a lot of teams that could be a play-in hopeful.
Yeah.
But there are also a lot of teams that are locks. So we can't even contemplate some of these teams, including the Atlanta Hawks, as a playoff lock.
No,
right?
I'm with you.
No. Are they going to be better than 36 and 46? Will the defense actually do anything?
Yeah, and
with Daniels and Larry Nance and stuff like that. Yeah,
those guys.
Yeah.
Will there be a period where they decide we're going young, we're going Risachet, we're going Dyson Daniels, we're going Kobe Buffkin, we're starting all our young dudes along with Jalen Johnson instead of the guys like Clint and DeAndre Hunter, like the old guys.
Older guys. Yeah.
Will there be a period where that's the biggest question? I think the trade teams, they're always like this 36 and 46. 40 and 42, that type of realm. So
how much longer does the Trae Young era last is sort of another question here too. If this is another complete wash of a season, I don't know. I know it's always in trade rumors his name.
Wouldn't they have wanted to trade him the past couple of transaction cycles? Found no takers. I mean, obviously the Lakers wanted him last year and wouldn't pay for it. So maybe the Hawks convinced somebody, but it feels to me like they made their move with the DeJounte Murray trade, and they're going to be going forward with Trae Young and Risachet and Jalen Johnson as their threesome here.
Yeah, for sure.
Bogdan Bogdanovic is the guy who I think could be dealt first as an old guy. I mean, killing Capella too, but amongst there's older guys that could be traded is all I'm saying from the Hawks.
Definitely not getting any sort of package like Trae Young would warrant though, in terms of draft picks and young players and stuff like that. But yeah, I hear you. Okay, they're a play-in team for sure.
They're a play-in team. I think also an easy one. The Boston Celtics. They're a title contender. Simple. Next.
Yeah, and we do put these in order when we get them in the tiers. We don't have to do it right away, but we'll move them around. So they'll probably, where you just put them, I don't think move from there. They are the favorites to repeat.
I think so.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Next.
Okay, I do have a question usually for every team. My only question with them is the center rotation without Kristaps Porzingis. It didn't matter in the postseason really last year, but he's going to be out for a while, Porzingis is. So can you get by with, a 38-year-old Al Horford, and you want to limit his minutes, of course. You want to keep him as fresh as possible for a postseason run. Luke Cornett, Xavier Tillman. That's, to me, the only cue. And will that be fine? It probably will be, because it has been before. Mm-hmm. But that's their only weakness. And I don't even know if I'd even call it a weakness, because at least there's some depth and some different players in terms of Cornett, Tillman, and Horford, how they play. It's different.
No question.
Okay.
Will they change Xavier Tillman's nickname, I think, is the question. I think they should.
He has a nickname?
No. He needs one.
Oh.
I guess I shouldn't have used the word
change.
I used the word change. He does have one.
X?
Well, no, you know what they should call him? Because it is Xavier Tillman and not Xavier Tillman, they should call him the Big Z, the next Z. Z Part 2.
Jesus, that would be very confusing.
That would be super
but that's what he goes by. Maybe he should change the spelling of his name. Does he have a nickname?
Basketball Reference, give us anything?
No, not
nothing.
Even close.
Grandpa.
And he's a
Grandpa who doesn't look like Grandpa. Young-looking old guy. No.
Old-looking young guy.
Old-looking
yeah,
young
he's
guy.
25 or something like that?
He's 25 years old.
And he's a senior.
And he's
Yeah,
a
he
senior.
is.
Yeah.
There's something to
call him
be done
senior.
there.
Let's call him the citizen. Senior citizen.
Okay, go. Keep it moving.
That's all we got to say about the Celtics.
I mean, yeah.
They
Look,
got
man,
it.
they have no Porzingis. It didn't matter. They went, 11-2 in the playoffs last year without Porzingis? They smashed everybody. He played hurt in the finals and had a 20-point quarter.
I know.
Ridiculous.
I know. They're
That was a good
elite on
quarter.
both ends of the floor. I mean, yeah. There's real no weakness. Okay.
Nah.
And they're
Better to
coming
be-
in. They're coming in as an underdog.
Yeah, they got
Everyone's
a chip on their shoulder.
Nobody cares about us. Nobody thinks we're good. Nobody talked about us. They talked about us for 3 days after we won a championship, which was true. We moved on very quickly.
Yeah.
So they're pissed. So that's
Yeah.
good for them. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a grumpy old man playing backup center too, so you know. That's the most fun thing to say about the Celtics. All right, another easy one, the Brooklyn Nets. Mm-hmm. They are seeking the flag.
Yeah.
They traded their best player so that they could tank this draft.
Yeah.
I think they got a chance to be the worst team in the league. They're not going to be the worst team in the league to me. That honor goes to the Washington Wizards, but I think that the Nets are going to be pretty low here on the Flagg Seekers tier.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
As long as Coach Jordy Fernandez gets an entire season to be bad, we'll be happy with that. We were looking up the Coach of the Year, I guess we were looking up odds to be canned.
No, this was Coach of the Year odds.
Oh, we were looking at Coach of the Year odds.
Yes.
And he was dead last.
Well, I mean, technically the way that the website had it ordered, Billy Donovan was the
Sorry. Oh, wow.
but he was tied down there. I think it was Keith Dog, Jordy, and Billy D at the bottom. So, you know, two guys who were rookie coaches for the worst teams in the league. And then my guy, Billy, who's on an extension, bro. Let's go.
Man.
Let's go. Final Four Flirts, Chicago Bulls. Here you go.
So we have them capturing the flag. That makes sense.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
The question with them, and a lot of these teams, all these teams, I should say, we did our over-under win total predictions last week. You know, one for the East, one for the West. So go check this out. We talk about the teams in much more detail than we probably will here today. But the question we talked about, and it's the cue I have, is who's going to get moved from this Nets team? You know, who's first, or do they all get moved at once? I'm talking about Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, Bogdanovich, Bojan, the other one. You know, there's some pieces that I think could be moved, especially if they just lean into being bad and it's a growth year for some of their guys.
They're already leaning. So, yeah, will it continue? At least they picked a direction here with this team. Because, honestly, there's not that many horrendous teams here in the National Basketball Association. Because this is the fun time with the new CBA. There's some parity happening, but there are some bad teams, and this is one of them.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is one of them.
Cam Johnson is a good player, though. Cam Johnson will be dealt, but he makes a lot of money, so maybe it's more of a DFS, a Dorian Finney-Smith that goes
that's the
first.
guy that gets
Yeah.
moved first.
Yeah.
If you're ranking players to keep around, Claxton is number one for sure.
Yeah.
Cam Johnson is number two because he's a little younger than Dorian Finney-Smith, and I feel like they already missed the boat on DFS, to be quite honest. He could have been traded for a couple of first-round picks when he came over a couple of seasons ago. They didn't do the move, and you're not getting that kind of return now. So you blew it, but you can get maybe one first-round pick from a desperate team.
Yeah.
They did a good job with Royce O'Neal and dealing him at the right time because they got picked back for him.
Did they?
For the Suns, yeah.
I mean, the Suns didn't have first-rounders. Did they get seconds?
Maybe they got somebody else's.
I don't remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
it could have been. Yeah, could you get a protected, first-round pick for Dorian Finney-Smith?
No, I don't think so.
Probably
Look,
not.
man,
But
we haven't
depends how
heard
he
a word
plays,
about
too.
this guy since he stopped playing with Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have capitalized on it. It was a different NBA then, pre-CBA. There was more picks flying around.
True.
So Basketball Reference took a second to load here, so I couldn't find the picks that was traded. But the Phoenix... Anyways, you can go on. Yeah, maybe you're right. It was just second-round picks.
Why would you trade a first for Royce O'Neal? Think of
Well,
it that way.
it's happened before with different guys.
Guys have been traded for first-round picks. So.
Guys who did not deserve to be dealt for first-round picks is what
Royce
I'm saying.
O'Neal-like players is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
DFS-like players.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to the Hornets.
Maybe our first question mark.
Yeah.
I would say, how good can the Hornets be is the question. Play in hopeful tier? I think that's kind of the ceiling for the Hornets. That would require 70-plus games from LaMelo Ball, good chemistry with Brandon Miller, and I think Mark Williams would be helpful, him being healthy,
Yep.
Though I think he is pretty overrated league-wide. People talk about him like he's part of the big three there. He is a solid center, but they need him healthy. Regardless, I think a 30-win season would be awesome for the Hornets. That maybe gets you in the mix. for the play-in in the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference bottom teams are terrible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why everyone's a play-in. It feels like, unless you're the Nets, who dealt a first-round pick for Royce White. I was too late with that one.
They traded a first-round pick for Royce White.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, the Hornets belong here in a play-in hope. That's for sure.
No, it's not. Why?
They don't have hopes to be a 30-plus win team.
They're either at the bottom of play-in hopefuls or the top of the tanking teams.
Okay. Yeah. That you can talk me into, because they're not going to be, I don't think, going to be the worst team. If LaMelo plays and can stay healthy.
He's wearing ankle braces for the first time in his career. That
I love it.
matters. I mean, they were good when he played.
Yeah, that's true. And, the new coach bump, everyone loves Charles Lee, and I think he probably will inspire them. Maybe they're better defensively and all that. Like, they're one of the worst teams on that end. They're one of the worst teams on both ends. 28th and 29th, I think, in offensive rating and defensive rating, respectively. But, man, okay, so you guys are trying to say either at the end of the play-in hopefuls or the front of Flagg Seekers.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like I'm getting voted 2-1 here. Maybe you guys want to put them at the back end of the play-in hopefuls?
At this point right here, I have to put them in as a hopeful. They're hopeful. I mean, they've got a new front office as well, not just Charles Lee as a head coach. They brought in an old guy in Taj Gibson to help out their locker room.
The locker room.
That's very weird.
Josh Green is there, obviously. He's come over,
Tijon Salon is hitting threes. You see this guy stepping into him, Skeets? The confidence.
Yeah. Okay.
Salonfidence.
Okay. Back end of the play-in
We're
hopefuls.
going to regret that one. We're going to be looking at this one in 2025, saying the Hornets, we had them in a play-in hopefuls. How about the Chicago Bulls?
Oh, God. Here we go.
Oh, I would love for them to be in the flag-seeking tier. And guess what? The Bulls are going to be terrible. They're going to be bad. They're going to start the season with 4 wins in their first 20 games, I think.
Whoa, wow. 4-16 start for the Chicago Bulls? Mm-hmm. How does Zach LaVine look, though? He's looked good in preseason.
Confidence is there.
I mean, can he restore his public perception? Yeah, I mean, to help his trade value if there's any left. I had this as one of my underlocks. The line was 27.5.
Yes,
so if I'm locking that in, you know where I stand. I do think they are going to be a flag seeker, and correctly for once should lean into that. But this is the Bulls, and they'll probably no, we're winning 35 games. Thank you very much.
If I put them in the hopefuls of a play-in spot, I would have to put them below the Hornets. The Hornets have more hope. Yeah, so I'm fine putting them as a flag seeker, if we're going to be completely honest, because I think the play-in hopefuls is going to get a little crowded.
Okay.
There's going to be too many hopefuls.
Where do you want to put them, Bulls fan?
I want to put them at the bottom.
All right.
Yeah, started from the bottom, now we're here.
He's really trying to... I like how you're really trying to talk this into existence.
The Bulls are going to be better than the Hornets. They will, for sure.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to be better than the Hornets, but I want them down there in the bottom tier.
I think
well, I want the Hornets right there with them, but...
I mean, when you start talking about the talent that the Bulls have, they should be better than the Hornets, but I don't think they will be. I'm taking that bet.
All right.
It's a crazy bet. It's
right.
a crazy bet when you start looking at, talk about the guys. You just mentioned LaVine and other guys who were good last year, and Kobe White.
I know, they actually do have talented players.
Playoff lock?
Final Four flirt?
Lonzo Ball on the way back?
I mean, there are 39.
Who's going to play more games this season, Lonzo or LaMelo?
Nah.
LaMelo.
Yeah, it better be.
Yeah. Lonzo, they're literally saying he's gonna play, obviously not back-to-backs, and I'm sure they'll sit him out and when they have a weird stretch of games, right? They are saying that.
They're saying he's gonna play.
Yeah, but we're going to be very cautious about how we play him.
They're only saying he's going to play. They don't even have a plan for it. They're like, let's literally see him on an NBA court again. It's been almost 2 years.
Yeah. He's definitely back up because now I'm looking at every single.
It's got to be fourth string. Yeah. They've got only guards.
Yeah, they got a lot of guards.
They've got all guards, Vooch and Buzelis.
Do you think we'll see LaMelo and Lonzo play on the same team at some point in the NBA?
Not in the NBA.
I think it'll happen. Well, actually, they will even be playing is the issue with one of them. All right.
LiAngelo, LaMelo, Lonzo. Big three. That's the big three. Why not?
Bros.
Get him in, Ice Cube.
Where is LeVar?
He was talking.
Was he?
Yeah, he was talking this summer.
Oh.
Yeah. I saw LiAngelo working out at one point, too. Why do I have to still see LiAngelo ball highlights?
Where is he?
It's the internet.
I don't know. He was looking good, though.
Is he?
He was looking good. He was in shape.
All right. Let's go to the Cavs.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
It's a good one.
This is a good one.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree. Because to me, the Cleveland Cavaliers easily could finish in the conference finals. Like it feels to me there are 3 teams we're going to have at the top of the Eastern Conference in the Celtics, the Knicks, and the 76ers. Yeah. Maybe it doesn't play out like that because we're hearing a lot from the 76ers with regards to managing Embiid's health, his minutes, his back-to-backs, along with Paul George's. Maybe they don't have a great regular season, but I think they're still a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. The 4th slot is really up for grabs, and to me it comes down to the Cavs, the Heat, the Bucks, and
maybe the Magic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One of those 4 teams could be our final home court advantage team in the first round. And, we saw with the Pacers last year. We even saw in the Western Conference with both the Mavs and the Timberwolves. You could make a conference finals depending on how the matchups shake out. So I would almost throw them up into the Flirts category. Ooh. Definitely a playoff lock, though, for me.
Yeah, that'll be the lowest we go. Can you go as far to say they're a Final Four flirt? You, lover of Evan Mobley, lover of Darius Garland.
Yes, that's me.
I think you love Donovan Mitchell. I know you like Jared Allen. You're a Kenny Atkinson guy through and through.
Right.
You
Max
love
Strus
bringing up
doppelganger.
A Coro.
nice.
Yeah, Strus
nice
double. Nice.
This is the tough spot, though. I do think they are a better playoff team than they are a regular season team. So at this point,
interesting.
I would anoint maybe one of these other teams above them, but like the Bucks perhaps. But I'm fine putting them as a flirt. There's a lot of flirters in the Eastern Conference. I do think the title contenders are the Cavs. And if I'm going to put one other team there, it's the Knicks. But then the
Celtics.
You meant the Celtics.
I'm sorry. The Knicks and the Celtics. But then there's going to be heavy flirting happening with the Sixers, the Bucks, the Cavs. That's what I'd flirt them if we're willing to put an extra flirter in there. Then it's not even a debate for me. I think the 76ers, and then it's the second team. Whether it's the Bucks, Cavs for me. Magic aren't ready to flirt.
You talked a lot about on the over-unders like Evan Mobley and his progression, right?
Yeah.
Especially on the offensive end. Can he shoot? Can he stretch the floor a little bit? How's that pairing work? Obviously with Jared Allen, the defense not an issue. He's one of the greatest defenders in the league already at his age. But that's my huge cue with them. And they were just weird, like because they were winning games, but they didn't have their full repertoire for a lot of the season. And oddly, that was resulting in victories. And Garland had a wash of a season. I mean, the guy, weird injuries.
That's another big question.
Sucking through a straw half the season.
And Mitch.
So, you're
sucking through a straw. I'm fine putting them as a playoff lock.
Yeah.
Again, I say they're
near the top of that. Yeah.
I say they are more of a playoff team because it is going to take them some time to figure out this 2-point guard, 2-center thing with Kenny Atkinson.
Sure. Okay. Let's put on playoff lock for now. We can change this at the end if we want.
That's true.
Okay.
That's fun. That's a fun one.
Worst team in the league last season.
Yeah.
The Detroit Pistons. 28-game losing streak.
That's amazing.
They got to be better. They do not want to tank a 4th straight season. So to do that, they brought in Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, and Tim Hardaway Jr. They got real guys on their team. Guys you've heard of. Guys your team didn't want, but the Pistons, they want them. Mm-hmm. And they got them, baby. Detroit Pistons, are we willing to call them a play-in hopeful?
No.
Good.
No, but they're going to be better than a 14-win team. And maybe significantly better. And I mean significantly like 10-plus wins.
Okay.
But they're still going to be one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference. I think.
Yep. They will be. They could even pass that by half or mid-season. They could get to 15 wins. They could be a 15 and 25 win team 40 games in. Does that make them a play-in hopeful at that point?
At that point, maybe.
Sort of in a weird way. But I'm flagging it.
Okay. And where are we?
I'm flagging this one for review as well.
And where are we putting them amongst those other crap teams? Like, are they at the front of the list?
I think they're better than the Nets.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's where you slotted it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and behind the Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. The Hornets, we made a mistake. Okay, let's move on.
The Hornets look sweet, man. We got to take a swing, though.
But you guys are right. When LaMelo did play, they were actually good.
40 and 42.
Yeah, but they also had Gordon Hayward when his body still worked and Terry Rozier. They had better
Completely
players on the
team.
team back then.
Yeah, it's true.
But, hey, man, I'm still a LaMelo believer.
All right.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. But I remember. Tall guys that can pass. Oh, delectable. The Indiana Pacers, they made the conference finals last season. They made the conference finals. We've seen a lot of rubber band effect with those kind of teams in the past half decade in the NBA. At the very least, Indiana Pacers have to be very near the Cleveland Cavaliers to me. Are they ahead or behind the Cavs? I don't know. You know, it's both kind of interesting. On one hand, you got the Cavs who can't play all 4 of their best players together when it really matters. On the other hand, you got the Pacers who probably don't play playoff quality defense when you get to the highest levels, but both flawed teams, but both very good teams, I do believe. So Pacers, you can convince me they're a Final Four flirt. They made it there last year.
They did.
They were really flirting. They had a call back from their honey.
Yeah, and they went and got with the honey for a playoff series. 47 wins, get to the conference finals. If you're anointing them just a playoff lock rather than a Final Four flirt, then you're basically saying there's guys, or teams I should say, who are jumping and taking your flirting.
And also
guys.
The way the matchups and playoff is there an injury to the other team? Like, they benefited last year. They're a good team. They have an identity. They're going to outscore you. But, like, they got a little lucky in postseason matchups, for sure.
Banged up Bucks.
Yeah. Would they go as far as they
Bucks.
did?
Knocked up Knicks.
Yeah. But they took advantage of it, and that's what you got to do in the NBA.
right.
I think they're a playoff lock.
Where's the alliteration for the Celtics? I mean, they didn't get a break with the Celtics, but those were good. Banged up Bucks, knocked up Knicks.
Click and Celtics, though. They ran into
They smoked them. It didn't matter. Okay. They were hurt, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, I'm fine with a playoff lock. Above the Cavs or below the Cavs?
Ooh, I think right below the Cavs. They're right there to me with them.
Yes, they're a perfect tier together. Them, and we're going to have the Magic right there as well.
And like, look, for them, I mean, both those teams actually, really, Cavs and Pacers, like, it's continuity, right? I mean, they didn't do a whole lot in the offseason. And the Cavs made a coaching change. That is big. But, like, Pacers, I mean, they did like nothing.
You get a full season of Siakam, though.
That was their move.
Makes them better.
Last year.
Look, I'm not knocking them for that. I don't mind teams that are like, hey, we were pretty good. We have a bunch of talented guys. Let's just grow on that. And that's what they're going. Like, they really just added James Wiseman for Jalen Smith. That was like the one real thing they did. I had one great question, though, out of left field. You called, I thought was a great nickname. You called Benedict Mathurin the Baker.
Yeah.
Somebody in the IG comments, I believe, said, okay, great nickname, Ben the Baker. If he's the baker, who's the butcher and who's the candlestick maker on the Pacers? A rub-a-dub-dub. Let's do it.
Okay, I like it. It's got to be bench guys. It's got to be bench guys to me.
Okay, so the rub-a-dub-dub bench is maybe a nickname we have going here.
Ben the Baker. T.J. McConnell, the candlestick maker.
Yeah, he's got to be one of them. Is he more of a butcher in a weird way?
Butcher seems like a big guy to me, but do they have a big guy with a B last name? You know, that would be helpful, or something along those lines.
No, they gotta.
Okay, you want to go
James
candlestick
Wiseman,
maker?
the butcher. Jarris Walker, the butcher.
Obi Toppin.
Obi the butcher.
There's a
tough.
B.
We'll have to wait and see on that one.
I just thought, like McConnell plays
hard.
Like hard.
He's a gritty fella.
Yeah, gritty, dirty, bloody, butcher-esque.
Butcher-esque.
Anyway, okay, we don't need to answer now, but let's just let that marinate. All right?
Beautiful. The Miami Heat. What do you do about the Miami Heat, you know? How do you decide? How do you decide on the Miami Heat? They never have a good regular season. They try and win through the play-in tournament. Sometimes it works, and sometimes they get smoked after they make it to the actual playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit higher on the Heat this season for literally no reason. They also didn't really do much. But I think Jovic is a good player. I think he will progress. I thought we saw a little from him. I think Jaquez, at the very least, will be the same player as he was last season. You got to assume better health for Jimmy Butler. He seems like he wants to play more games. Bam Adebayo is shooting threes. And I think he might actually do it when it comes regular season time.
They're very high on Khalil Ware.
They're very high. He's blocking
pick.
shots like crazy.
Yep, super energetic, 7-footer. You maybe pair him with Bam at times. Outside of that, they added Alec Burks. Not a whole lot else. Lost Caleb Martin. Lost Patty Mills.
Caleb Martin's a loss for sure.
Yeah. With a very difficult team to figure out where to put. You honestly, you could run like the gamut here with you honestly could. Hey, full season of Jimmy Butler.
Sure.
Tyler Hero with a buzz cut. All these big guys. You could talk me into a Final Four flirt like we did last year, and we regretted. But you could also have me down, obviously, as just a play-in hopeful, because that's sort of how regular seasons go for this team. They especially when Jimmy doesn't play, they struggle offensively, but they're always a top 5 defensive team under Spo. It's a tough one. So I'd probably go in the middle.
Right. My question is, how many are we locking into the playoffs? Because Celtics, Knicks, Sixers, Bucks, Cavs, Magic, Pacers, locks. That's 7. So are you adding in the Heat, I suppose? But then you're basically saying none of the hopefuls are making it, which I guess it's a decent. That's a decent
how it
way.
always goes in the play-in. The
yeah.
Heat are in it, and they end up playing one of these trash teams. And you're like, oh, wait, the Heat are actually a playoff team.
Yes.
That's how it always goes. I'm willing to call them a lock here.
The question is, are they this year better than the Cavs and the Pacers and the Magic in the regular season?
I don't think so in the regular season.
Yeah, I agree. I know.
It's so crazy. Like, they're 2 games worse than those teams last year. The Heat are.
Yeah.
It just feels like they're...
Imagine Jimmy plays more. Maybe they win some more clutch games.
Yeah.
Though I feel like maybe they were good in the clutch. That could have been the season
I think
prior.
it's just
don't
Jimmy
remember.
stay on the floor and play like a lot of games.
Okay, I watched some of Starting 5, the Netflix show.
Oh, how is it?
It's good. The reason Jimmy Butler is out so much is because he's skinny. He's tiny compared to all these other guys that are in the NBA, and you see the style he plays. It's not surprising that he's banged up all the time. He is so much smaller than, obviously LeBron, Domantas Sabonis, but he's tiny compared to Jason Tatum.
Right.
He looks like a skinny man.
Right.
He's very shirtless in this series.
Oh, yeah?
That was my question.
Yeah, he is not wearing a shirt a lot of the time. Yeah.
So now we're seeing the true size of Jimmy
You're seeing
Butler.
the true size.
So who wears their shirt less in this starting 5? Anthony Edwards or LeBron or Jimmy?
Okay, LeBron, Jimmy, and Jason Tatum are the 3 highest no shirt wearers.
Oh, really? I thought
Yeah,
Ant would
Ant
be
wears a
there.
shirt more than you would think, and Sabonis is like consistently wearing a shirt.
Yeah, even in the pool.
He's a full shirt guy.
Just kidding. Guys,
They got Domantas Sabonis building like an IKEA tent in one of these episodes.
Okay, I gotta watch this. I was hesitant, but I am seeing people that have watched it are saying it's okay.
Watch it with your wife, man.
Oh yeah, she's gonna
That's the key.
like a lot of family time and
Well, you're learning about these guys and their histories, and LeBron's been in your life for 20 years.
yeah, that's true. Are you as a basketball sicko learning anything new from these 5 guys?
I don't know about that.
Okay, well,
but I'm remembering stuff. I'm they very early on, maybe it's in episode 2, they have the game between the Timberwolves and the Celtics that ends with Tatum and Ant guarding each other.
Yeah,
Remember that game?
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, this was an awesome game.
Yeah.
And then it was an awesome game. There's a whole segment where Domantas Sabonis explains what it's like to get a triple-double. I understood what that was all about. But I think it's more for somebody who's a casual fan to learn about this kind of stuff.
That's what I find.
And in my household in particular, it's for my wife to figure out why I come home with black eyes and cuts on my face all the time, because she saw Sabonis playing. She's like, "That's what you're like."
Oh, yeah,
I was like, "That is what I'm like.
Oh,
I just don't pass as much."
That's quite, oh,
Wow.
come on, you're a good passer.
Got your game compared to Domantas Sabonis. That's a win.
So good show. The Miami Heat, though, they're a playoff lock.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
like them above the C's or the P's?
No.
The Cavs or the Pacers?
Nah.
All right, we'll keep them there.
God, it's tough.
I would take the Heat in the playoff series over both those teams, I think.
Yeah, I know.
That's the weird stuff.
Yeah, I
See,
know.
I wouldn't.
It's all about matchups. It's all about matchups when it
Yeah.
comes down to it.
Yeah, it is. You're not wrong.
The Milwaukee Bucks, they signed a bunch of minimum guys. That's all they did, really, this summer. Torian Prince, DeLon Wright, Gary Trent Jr.
Yep.
And they're just hoping that they don't have quite the same drama this season. New coach last year in Adrian Griffin. He lasted 44 games. Then they got another new coach
Yeah.
in Doc Rivers. Obviously, they did the Lillard trade in September. He's coming in healthier than he was last season, more in shape than he was. So the Milwaukee Bucks, I know they're at least a playoff lock, and I think they're probably going to be our first team here in the Final Four flirt. Are you going championship level, Taskmaster?
Well, I know some people just because of what they did last year in the playoffs and the fact that Giannis and Chris Middleton do get injured in the postseason would say this team ain't even a Final Four flirt. We saw it in the postseason last year. They didn't get there, obviously, because Giannis was hurt. Was a big part of it. But I'm putting them there. We are getting a better Lillard. Giannis is extremely happy playing for Greece in the Olympics for the first time. He's basking in it. They started 30-13 last year. That is
Fired their coach.
That is amazing.
Get him out of here.
They are slow playing the
Bring in
Chris
Doc.
Middleton
Get
thing.
worse.
Yeah, they did get worse. The defense was better, but yes, they haven't done
much,
a
yeah.
lot. Lillard has said that he is devoted to that for the first time in his career. It feels like that he's doing that in talk anyways. They're slow playing this Chris Middleton thing big time. And I know Chris Middleton may not be a huge regular season factor, but he is important to them.
He's important.
And their fifth spot got better. The Gary Trent over Malik Beasley, to me anyways. But the injuries are a big part of it. But I'm pushing them there because
to where?
To the Final Four.
Okay.
Because they're definitely a lock.
Yeah. My big question with them, you were touching on it there. Can Milwaukee get back to being a top 5 or even a top 10 defensive team? That to me is like, that gets them into Final Four flirt. That gets them obviously knocking on the door of maybe being a title contender. Otherwise, like they improved a little bit when they're but they were bad. They were near like lower third of this league defensively. And I get why age showed its unfortunately showed its ugly head. That's definitely not a saying. Age showed its ugly head. Though age can be ugly, can it? I don't even know what I was trying to say.
Showed its ugly
Reared
head.
its ugly head?
Yeah, that's good.
I guess that's better.
Well,
Anyway.
they got some more old guys.
I know.
They're not any younger.
No.
That's a problem.
Gary's young.
Gary's young.
Yeah.
DeLon Wright plays defense though. It's like these are on the fringes here. Obviously, he's not even huge.
I mean,
huge
DeLon
minutes.
Wright, I agree, is good, but if he's playing,
Yeah.
that means Lillard's not playing.
Yeah, true. So where do you want to put him? Playoff lock or Final Four flirt?
I would say Final Four flirt. I got a lot of respect for Giannis. And as long as he's healthy, I think that the Bucks can win a first-round playoff series against whoever they're going to be matched up with pretty easily, and then it depends on who they're faced up against. And,
Okay.
you got to give Giannis a chance in that one.
Okay, Final Four flirt.
Cool.
Put him in there.
New York Knicks.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they did a lot this season. We thought they were going to have just a bunch of college buddies hanging out. GQ did a whole story about the Nova Knicks, only for Karl Anthony Towns to be traded to the Knicks as well. So GQ had to scuttle their plans and go with the greatest Knicks team that never was. Sad stuff. I would say the greatest Knicks team that never was when they were an hour away from signing Michael Jordan in 1996, but that's just me. Jordan and Patrick Ewing would have been a decent team.
Yeah.
They never played together, and nor did the Nova Knicks. But they still upgraded. They got Karl Anthony Towns. They got Mikal Bridges alongside Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Precious Achua. They drafted a guy named Tyler Kolek.
Yeah, people
Deuce
are high on
McBride is good, as is Miles McBride. Jericho Sims, he's still around. They won't play him, but he's there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why they kind of need another healthy center, but I guess they're just waiting for Mitchell Robinson to come back. And when Mitch comes back, this team belongs in the Final Four, especially because, it's already testy in New York. That Rick Brunson talking trash with Donte DiVincenzo.
That was awesome.
Fantastic. DiVincenzo at the foul line saying that's what happens when you take. What was the word?
He said that's what happens when they let you run the show.
When you let you run the show.
Is what DiVincenzo said to the Knicks bench in the first quarter, and then escalated after the game. Rick and Donte. Dante's Inferno with Rick Brunson as they tried to sort of talk crap to each other.
Talking trash to an assistant coach who was the head coach yesterday because Tibbs wasn't there. But that's just great.
Yeah.
That is great. That's exactly what he said. That's what happens when you take control of the show. That's great.
I get and ones.
Yeah.
What are the odds Knicks Timberwolves finals?
The odds would pay. Those are two good teams. Like if it broke the right way,
1% chance or lower?
1% seems
okay.
fine.
1 out of 100 simulations.
I'd
Knicks
go higher.
Timberwolves.
You go higher.
Are they? It's just if you think that somebody can beat the Celtics, it's the Knicks, right? That's what it comes down to.
Interesting. That is the question. Can the Knicks beat the Celtics at their own game? Because the Knicks basically have done what the Celtics did. They got two great wings in OG and Mikal Bridges, and they got a stretch 5 in Karl Anthony Towns. That's their Porzingis. Whereas you look at the 76ers, they've got their own thing going. They got a huge dude in Joel Embiid. They got a fast guy in Maxey, and they got a wing in Paul George. Yeah. They are a different style team, whereas the Knicks are playing Celtics style.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. They got Cat to pull Porzingis out and give lots of space for Brunson and Bridges who want to drive. I would rather go with the Knicks. So I think it's higher than 1%. I would rather take the Knicks style than the 76ers style right now. So, yes, a 3% that the Knicks and the Timberwolves will meet in the finals.
So we're going Final Four flirt, though.
You guys don't think they're title contenders?
Yeah, if you have to add a second team to that, I would put the Knicks. in the Eastern Conference. Somebody has to be another contender in the Eastern Conference.
Do they? Why?
Celtics are not guaranteed to be in the finals.
I mean, I love Jalen Brunson more than anybody, but I'd be worried about Drew Holiday and Derek White locking his ass up, shutting that off a little bit. And I love Jalen Brunson. Okay.
You just want one
I see
Eastern
what you're saying.
Conference
So you're just
team?
trying to decide between them and the Sixers as to who will be the other Eastern Conference team as a title contender?
Yeah, it's easy to me. But do you want just one Celtic? Are we already here? We're already at this point where the Celtics
There's
are
no
going to be
rule that
there
says
in
we
June.
have to have so many Eastern Conference teams or so many teams from whatever conference as a title contender.
Just because you saw them smack around a couple teams last year in the playoffs doesn't mean they're going to get there for sure.
Of course, it doesn't mean for sure, but man,
if you
are you
don't
going to
have
bet against it? I mean, I wouldn't. All right, put the Knicks. Put them there, mate.
Wow, in the title contenders.
Jesus.
I was just stirring you guys up.
I
I don't
know,
have the
would.
Knicks as a title contender. They're a Final Four.
Well, then bump them down if you agree with me. Put them ahead of the Bucks, though. There you
Well,
go.
definitely ahead of the
Yeah,
Bucks.
yeah.
Definitely. There's 3 title contenders this season.
Okay, well, we'll get to them.
Tune in later. Better stick around for the Western Conference. Orlando Magic, playoff lock. Yeah, they're in that tier. That's the tier we're talking about.
Yeah.
The CPM tier right now. We're adding an O. Where do they go, though? Are they better than the Heat?
Yep.
Are they better than the Pacers?
Yep.
Yeah.
Are they better than the Cavs?
I'm okay putting them better than the Cavs in the regular season. But
It's
whatever you guys want.
Yeah, I'm sort of with Tass. I feel confident about them as a regular season team. I do think they're gonna flirt with 50 wins. Not that those other teams won't either. I mean, they're all there, basically in the same ballpark. But yeah, they obviously just lost to the Cavs last year in a close series. But I like the KCP addition. I just like. I like everything I'm hearing from Paolo Banchero and this team, and obviously Coach Mosley. There's a nice, quiet confidence to him. I do think they're going to have a better offensive year. I think KCP is going to help, obviously, three-point shooting. I do believe in Franz Wagner not to be as bad as he was from three-point distance last year. So I think that goes up, and I don't see the defense falling off. So, yeah, it's either ahead of the Cavs or behind the Cavs, right, in playoff locks. Put them behind.
Yep.
Put them behind.
Okay, tell me this then. Who is the best player here? Donovan Mitchell, Paolo Banchero, Tyrese Halliburton, Jimmy Butler.
In a playoff series or just like
It's Donovan.
an
I think.
All-NBA year? I think it's
I know
Donovan
it's hard
too.
to bet against Jimmy, but yeah, I think it's Donovan.
It's Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
Of those guys.
Yep.
I think so.
And Jimmy is the best playoff guy. Well, I mean, Donovan Mitchell's good in the playoffs.
I was gonna say, yeah, Jimmy's holding on to that. I mean, at some point that has to fade away.
Oh,
Yeah, he was terrible in the playoffs last year. He was hurt.
Right.
Yeah. We've seen it sometimes. Yeah. Jimmy. Maybe this year. The Philadelphia 76ers, are they a Final Four flirt? Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I do think they could win the championship this year, but
Wow.
ain't nobody going to be wagering on that one, trusting the 76ers. I ain't that foolish. Right. But I think they could do it, but I think they should end up in the Final Four flirt category. For me, they would be in between the Knicks and the Bucks.
Yeah, I would definitely rather anoint the Knicks into the title contenders rather than the 76ers. There's just too many questions. We don't need to get into injuries again, but it definitely is a question. Embiid's not playing in the preseason.
Only question is Joel Embiid healthy enough when it matters? That's it. It's like, and
Well,
you know what's interesting to me? I was thinking about this.
So you're saying the rest of the team is that much better? Because
I
last
love
year,
what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, but last year they got bounced in the first round.
Yeah.
So
Well, Embiid coming back from injury.
he was playing.
I know.
Good. I know,
Well,
but he's been injured in every playoffs, almost every playoffs. He's missed games in 5 of 7 NBA playoffs.
It's wild that Nick Nurse is the coach for this team because like they need to have the Kawhi Raptors here with Joel Embiid. They need to have that blueprint, which was obviously they slow played the injury with Kawhi. He missed a majority of the time, but the team was still really good. They won a ton of games when Kawhi didn't play that year. And then when they got Kawhi at his peak in the postseason. They don't win a title without him. And they need Embiid to have that Kawhi year. And I think it's possible. And I think the team is better even without Embiid in some of these games, with Maxey, leveling up, Paul George, Caleb Martin, all the additions. So they're obviously a Final Four flirt. And you want to put them behind the Knicks. You're wanting to put them behind the Knicks. I know that's fine.
I think there's additional questions to Joel Embiid in a little way. Because even Daryl Morey said other guys are going to have to wait for that push. Who's he talking about? It could be old guys like Kyle Lowry's or whatever, but it could be Paul George. He has missed playoffs even for the Clippers. It's happened before. Caleb Martin allowed to come from the Heat. Why didn't the Heat re-sign that guy? There's stuff. There's stuff there. So, yeah, he's definitely a Final Four for me.
Okay.
Cool.
Right
Toronto
up to
Raptors. Playing hopeful?
Oh,
God.
Gotta hope. Gotta hope.
Oh, yeah. What did they do? They didn't do a whole lot. They did all their moves last year during the season. I guess Davion Mitchell's in. They're high on a lot of their draft picks. Walter, Mobo, Shedheads are out there. Is Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett a good enough big three to be in the play-in or, trying to flirt for a position in the playoffs? Mm-hmm. That's what we're getting at here.
Are they going to play together is a good question now in the preseason. Because you've already got injuries happening right now.
They'll be healthy eventually.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm trying to imagine that all these teams are fully healthy here.
Yeah.
A fully healthy Raptors team, they're better than the Hornets. Are they better than the Hawks? They could be.
Maybe.
Yeah, they could
So
be.
I think the Hawks have the best player.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm extremely hopeful coming into the warm-ups here. But then Barrett's out. I mean, for the entire preseason. It might be out for longer. So you start to worry. He's out for at least the preseason. But in the East, it's easy to be flirting because somebody's going to get in with a 35-win record.
The 10th seed is going to be a bad team.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is
be
that
ugly.
the Raptors are not good enough. They're not bad enough for a high draft pick, and they're not good enough to matter at all. They are just in that spot, and that's where we're at. Unfortunately, they're a play-in hopeful. They're better than the Hornets, so if we have the Hornets there, then the Raptors got to be there. I'm sorry. They have to.
Yeah.
I agree.
But
I
I'm not
believe
going...
in Barnes. I believe in Barnes to be his best year here. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think defense is going to be an issue, stopping teams.
Pirtle, but he said, I'm not trying hard this year. I don't think we should try hard to win every game. That was maybe the worst quote of all of media day. I don't think Raptors fans had realized your team is bad and tanking until their player came out and said we're bad and tanking.
Well, yeah, and then even to have Masai saying the word rebuild, that guy never says that, and even he's leaning into that. It's like they're trying to tell us here, hey, don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up, guys.
Yeah.
The bar is very low. Maybe it is play-in. Maybe just in the final couple weeks they have a chance to make the plan, which is honestly worse. That's what I'm saying. Like, be bad, be real bad. Give me those better odds to capture a flag. But okay, play-in hopeful.
All right, our final Eastern Conference team. My personal pick for worst team in the league, the Washington Wizards. Clearly, they're a flag seeker. It's just where do you want to put them?
Yeah.
Below the Nets or above the Nets?
That's weird, right? Like, obviously, a bunch of young prospects that they're still hoping some of them can hit, you know, but they're high on Koulibaly, and Alex Sarr is going to have time to turn into a great player, and he probably will impact the team positively on the defensive end right away. And then they have all these old guys, like, Brogdon's there, Valanciunas is there, Kuzma, whether you want to consider him sort of a vet at this point, I guess he is. It's a weird mix. It's just like, how hard do they lean into trying to get a Cooper Flagg or a high draft pick? Because there's obviously not just Flagg. There's some very promising prospects in this next draft. Yeah, they should just play all those super young guys and just be bad.
Well, I mean, if they play Valanciunas, Kuzma, and Brogdon a lot, I don't think it's going to change their wins all that much.
No, you're right. Right.
They'll trade him eventually. But I'm with you. They're trying to get a high draft pick. They still need a franchise cornerstone.
Yes.
Sarr seems like a good second guy. Koulibaly seems like a good second guy. They need the number one guy.
Yep.
Worst team in the league?
Yeah.
Or better than the Nets?
Better than the Nets.
I think the Nets will be better. Wow. I mean, look what we're doing.
All right. The Dust Bowl is getting going early. Yeah. We shall see.
Oh, yeah. So what are the leans right now for our Dust Bowl teams? Sounds like, I guess, Tass is more pro-Wizards than I am them. Or Trey is, I guess, for that matter. We got to get to the Western Conference teams. So there's fewer really crappy teams. But then they're in a tougher conference. Wow, it really makes you think. Oh, let's get to it.
They're at the bottom. That's okay. We're switching to the Western Conference. Exciting times. The Dallas Mavericks, probably our biggest whiff last year, Skeets. We had them as a play-in hopeful. That one was your fault. You were so down on the Mavericks.
I was.
Yeah, they tanked away the season, and guess what? It worked. They got Derek Lively. He was awesome.
It did.
They made a move during the trade deadline. They got P.J. Washington. They got Daniel Gafford. Those guys are coming back. Klay Thompson in. Tim Hardaway Jr. out.
That's right.
Derek Jones Jr. out. Quentin Grimes in.
Najee.
What are you thinking here? Final Four flirt? Yeah, Najee Marshall's around as well. They're a playoff lock. Man, you've probably got to put them in the Final Four flirts, though, because at the very least, they went to the finals, and they got Luka Doncic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And after those midseason trades, they were like, their defense was legit.
They were sweet.
Is that real? Can that hold up for an entire season? If it can, then they're an automatic Final Four flirt to me.
They are flirters. I totally think that. I do think they are a better postseason team than regular season team, and that's okay. People were coming at me for saying that the Mavs may be a 40-plus win team, but 48. I said under the 49.5 over/under total that they have for the regular season. So people were coming at me. This team made the freaking finals, but I think they are going to get better in the postseason. And I think that's okay if they finish with 48 or 49 wins. It is going to be weird. What is their defense going to be with Luka, Kyrie, and Klay starting this season? Because, you got to believe in their other guys, in PJ and Lively and Gafford. Like, you got to believe in those guys. And they may change it. I mean, you could see Najee Marshall taking Klay's starting spot. Maybe. Quentin Grimes is going to play. But you got to replace Derek Jones Jr., and so I think it's going to take some time. And last year, they weren't an incredible winning regular season team, and they made the finals.
Yeah,
the conference
50 and 32. Mm-hmm. Top 10 on the offensive side of the ball. Overall, 18th in defensive rating, but that really improved after the deals that they made. Yeah, it's wild that, we're at a point where, like, can Najee Marshall replicate what Derek Jones Jr. gave them? It's like a legit question. Derek Jones Jr. was really good. Obviously a lob threat. At times could hit his three. Sometimes it obviously abandoned him. But defensively, he would take on usually the better perimeter player on the other team.
Yeah, because he's not starting. Because you got Luka, Kyrie, and Klay starting as your 1, 2, 3. It's going to be different. And maybe Najee Marshall says, I got to start. And eventually he does start for Klay. And they're good defensively. But
yeah,
it's a tough West. It's a very tough West.
Okay, we got him in the right spot. I don't think it's weird. I know they went to the finals, but they don't feel still to me as a title contender with a bang because there's still questions.
Western Conference is even more so about matchups, I think.
Yeah.
So where do you have them though compared to the Knicks, Sixers, Bucks? I would put them above at least the Sixers. I don't know. Yeah, it feels fine there.
Sure.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, behind the Knicks.
Denver Nuggets. They won the 2023 NBA championship.
Right.
They were eliminated in a Game 7 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had a 20-point lead in the second half of this game. Unbelievable that they blew it, actually. They lost KCP. They're replacing him with one of the three of Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, and Julian Strawther. We'll see who it ends up being. Probably going to be Christian Brown to start off. Dario Saric is around. I know Tass is excited about that. Mm-hmm. I still think the Nuggets are a title contender.
Okay.
I love it. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I know there are some questions.
It's all Jamal Murray, baby. He hasn't looked good in preseason, I'll tell you that.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah. So that's a huge concern to me. But you got Jokic. I mean, it's Murray and obviously MPJ. Those guys got to play their part. Led by Jokic. Title contender.
It is scary with Jamal Murray.
Beat the Celtics twice last year, I think.
Yeah.
Swept them.
Right. That would have been a fun finals matchup for sure. But the Minnesota Timberwolves said, we're coming back in this game. We're ruining everything. Yep. And then they lost because the Mavs got there.
And they traded the guy who helped them be able to play against the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Why don't we know exactly how Jamal Murray is? We should know. That they go and sign a monstrous contract. They signed him to a huge contract, so you'd think he'd be healthier than he showed in the postseason and the Olympics. He would be fine because he's really, really important to this team. So I just assume if Booth is signing him to this big deal, he's giving him a ton of money. If he's half the guy he used to be, then you don't give him that money. So I got to assume he's good enough, and then I make them the title contenders.
Okay.
And I do believe in Russell Westbrook looking good in the preseason. They need life. They need somebody to have attitude after winning a championship. They just need somebody to be a little snotty. And I think Russell has already been that guy so far. So far, so good.
And it is like who of those kids can fit in there and grab that fifth spot and contribute, and or do they all play their part? You said all the names already. I won't go over them. That's important here too. But title contender with Jokic, still in MVP form. But there are a lot of questions with the other guys that we just went through, like health reasons with Jamal Murray, and then you never know sometimes what Porter you're going to get. Gordon's actually fallen into a pretty consistent sort of contributor, I think, but Michael Porter Jr. It's all over the map.
He's ups and downs.
He's ups and downs. He's the roller coaster for sure. All right.
Golden State Warriors. I think this is an interesting one. They had a pretty solid record last season. What they win? 46 games?
They did.
They did 46-36. Lost in the play-in.
46-36.
To the Kings.
Got smoked in the play-in,
Yep.
if I'm remembering right. Lost
Correct.
by 15 or 20, something like that. They traded their franchise icon, Klay Thompson, and they brought in a whole bunch of guys. DeAnthony Melton is here. Buddy Hield is here. Who else do they got?
Kyle Anderson.
I saw him hit his
Waters
first
the
two
third.
threes. People are saying, Lindy Waters, you got to get on the court, buddy.
Yeah.
He's too good of a shooter to keep him on the bench.
Brought in some players. Those guys can all. I mean, Lindy Waters. Okay, yeah. But the other three names, yeah, they can play for sure. They can help a team. Are they good enough to be a playoff lock to you?
I think so. I think going through everything in terms of these teams, I do believe in a team that went 46-36 last year. I think they've got the depth. And guys who are just a year older in Kuminga, Pods, TJD, Trace Jackson Davis,
Yeah.
they're older and they should be good.
Do you think one of those guys really has to level up, though? Really have a real breakout season. They're all going to improve, I would assume. But
I mean, they're a top 10 offense last year, and they're middle of the pack defensively, and that's with Draymond Green getting suspended a lot. And so I think if Draymond Green just gets suspended a little, they're even better. I believe in DeAnthony Melton, and I think they have enough depth in Kyle Anderson and Buddy Hield. I would lock them in. Because I went through this all. If we're dropping the Mavs from contenders to a flirter, I think there's only really 8 good teams. I've just anointed them. I think they're in. That's all I'm saying. I'm already regretting the Mavs. Like, we can't put a contender into, like, a team that made the championship into the contender spot. That's all I'm saying.
we can do whatever we want, man.
Don't feel so bad about yourself.
I do feel bad about it, but I don't know. I'm just trying to think of the things that I will feel bad about, and it could be the Warriors as well.
Well, we felt bad about them last year. We showed you where we put them. We had them as a Final Four flirt, so we're knocking them down a peg here.
Yeah, but
It's definitely that's the direction
Yes.
we go with them. It's whether we go 2 tiers down.
it's the teams. Luckily, the Clippers are bad enough to drop out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out of here.
Luckily, the Grizzlies, to me,
That's a
the
tough one.
That'll be a tough one.
Lakers and Rockets, I think, are the other ones.
Pelicans.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good
yeah.
teams.
Anyways, we'll
All
get
right, so we got them at the back end of playoff locks for the Warriors.
Potential trade team as well. They could get better during the season.
Yeah, true.
They need to.
Okay.
Houston Rockets. Oh, they made a run at the play-in last season, winning a whole bunch of games, challenging the Warriors for the 10th seed. They ended up 41-41.
Yep.
And they're saying we brought in Reed Shepherd, and we're running it back with all of our young guys, and we're hoping we can figure out how it fit, because they had an awesome half season from Şengün last year and an awesome half season with Jalen Green last season, and it pretty much started for Jalen Green when Şengün went out. How does everything fit together? We don't know.
We don't know. Both of those guys obviously due for a contract extension as well,
Yeah.
which is still
Yes,
up in
indeed.
the air for some or both of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of these good problems to have, sort of. Like, we got so much talent, but who plays and how does it all mesh together? And do we need to, like, consolidate some of these guys? And do we go big game hunting, or is that getting ahead of ourselves and a little over our skis? Like, should we, like, instead of, just wait, just like that was a good season. Let's grow on that, which I do think they should do. I'm higher on this team than I think maybe you guys were when we were doing, like, the over-unders. I get it. It's tough. But I think they'll improve on last year. I think they can still go another level defensively under Udoka. And I love the Reed Shepherd addition. He's looked good in preseason. I know you debate how many minutes he'll get. And
absolutely.
Again, all the guards, I get it. But
Who won the poll?
Nah.
1 minute won the poll.
Yeah, 11 to 20.
11 to 20 minutes?
I should have changed the question, really. I should have just asked, is Reed Shepherd going to play enough minutes to win Rookie of the Year?
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes or no. And I don't think he is at this point. because they have too much depth. But that being said, when you're in the Western Conference with so many good teams, I can't put them more than a play-in hopeful. That's all I can put them in for. There's too many good teams.
I'm with you. I don't think they're a lock. I think they're the definition of a play-in hopeful. They're hoping they make the play-in this year.
Sure.
That would be a step forward.
Sure. Okay, they got to be at the top of it to me then.
Yeah, I think they should probably
they're
have
better
more
than
wins
all
than
those
all
teams.
those teams.
Yeah.
I still think they're probably going to finish above 500 this year, but I think that they can do that and still come in below their over-under, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Wasn't like 43.5, I think?
I think the Rockets will finish above. I know we haven't gotten to some of the teams, but teams that we're going to have as playoff locks, because there is a lot of them as we've gone through, like the Rockets will have a better record than one or two of those teams, and I'm banking on like an injury hitting one of those teams, and that always happens, and them falling out or something like that. I think the Rockets have so much depth that they actually benefit. But we saw it last year. It benefits them. They're okay. Like, all right, we got another guy we can plug in. So I think they're going to be a good regular season team. I think they're going to win a lot of games. 45 games.
Speaking of injuries,
That's a lot of games.
Yeah.
the LA Clippers. This is another thing that changed, Skeets. You said the only thing that changed was Flagg Seekers. I had to go find a different logo for the LA Clippers.
Wow. Good
Yeah,
call.
in the crosshairs. The ship in the crosshairs.
Yeah, let's see it. There it is.
The Clippers are weird. Did they win 50 games last season?
51 and 31. Top 4
Does not compute.
offensive rating.
Had a great run. They were terrible when they did the James Harden trade. They lost, their first 5 straight, and then they won a ton of games after that. Looked great for a month, and then they didn't look great to end the season. Kawhi Leonard got hurt in the playoffs. He's coming in banged up. Had to leave Team USA during the Olympics this summer. Still feels like he could maybe play on opening night at the
guess.
Intuit Dome with the halo. They call it the halo because there's no rings in this stadium yet. Where does this team end up? No, that's really why they do it.
Damn, that's good.
Couldn't call it the ring.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Same in Mercedes-Benz.
I'm a play-in hopeful for the LA Clippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have
Agreed.
to. This could be the first season in 14 seasons where they don't have a winning record.
Right.
That's weird.
Right.
Like the last 13 seasons, they've had a winning record. And if Kawhi is going to play, then you say, yeah, they're good. But he's not playing now. They're slow playing it for sure. And James Harden said, that's fine. We need him for the playoffs because Harden's going to do a lot. But in the tough West, it feels comfortable for once to put them in a play-in tournament level because usually I'm optimistic. But I don't know. Maybe they're being smart. We see with Chris Middleton, we see with Joel Embiid, teams are slow playing guys. You ain't playing now, man. You're sitting for the preseason. That's what they're doing, and he'll play later in the season, but I don't know.
Yeah, the difference to me is between conferences. Those guys can do it, I think, in the Eastern Conference. I don't think you're like too concerned about where you fall or where you end up. In the West, as we've gone through a million times, like you could slow play an injury to like a Kawhi Leonard or whatever, and you could miss the playoffs.
Yep.
You maybe not even make the play-in with the Rockets going 500 last year and not even getting in there. They were still like 5 games behind. Like they actually weren't even all that close in the end. So playing hopeful though, yeah. The guys play. I mean, how much Houston Harden do we get? Can he recapture that old magic?
Throwback.
Yeah, they added Derek Jones Jr., who we just talked up. Obviously, what he did for the Mavs. Batum still has it, can contribute. Who else? Chris Dunn. I guess they're taking a flyer on Kevin Porter Jr. Mo Bamba, I think's there.
Guys you know.
Guys you know. But yeah.
And a home court advantage. They got a new arena.
Yeah.
And they don't have to play during the day
got a
anymore.
You think that's an
Wall.
advantage? They know more about it? The ins and the outs of the bowels?
No, I think it's playing during the day that sucks because just being in LA.
We're gonna be tracking
I
that,
added
I'll
that
tell
part at the second part because I think that's more important.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You think they're just going to have a better record at home because they don't have to play all these matinee games that they used to have to because
they
the
hate
Lakers
it.
sharing the
They hate it.
stadium. Yeah.
But wouldn't theoretically the other team hate it too?
Yeah.
And they're
Nobody
not
li-
from that time zone,
yeah,
so
no-
it's even earlier
Yeah,
for them?
nobody likes it.
Well, you're ready. You're on the road.
Or it's actually later for them. Noon start West Coast would be 3 o'clock start for a New York team. So it is a big disadvantage. They're not going to have any excuses. Are they better or worse than the Rockets? That's my only question
I think
for
they're
you.
worse.
They were down double digits in every afternoon game they played last year. That's bad.
Seriously?
Yeah. They ended up
That's stupid.
they ended up 5-5 in those 10 games, but they were down double
Wow.
digits. So now it's a new arena. They've got a halo.
You got a halo.
Got a wall. You got every shitter imaginable.
Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers.
Chargers.
You want a T-shirt? Hey, what's your seat? Yeah, we can fire that right at you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got Balmer Cam. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Balmer
They got all the bells and whistles in the
Think they're gonna have a
Intuit Dome.
full Balmer cam?
Yeah.
You just watch the Balmer
I
broadcast?
think they do.
Respect. Be rubbing on legs.
That's weird.
All right, I got them worse than the Rockets, but
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you guys.
I don't know what to
You're
think
always
about
more of
this
a
team.
Clipper believer
Yeah,
than
no
I
one
am,
ever
guys.
knows.
And, yeah, I don't know.
I have zero belief in the
Oh, okay,
Clippers,
okay.
ever. Literally ever. I've never once thought they were going to do good.
Okay, put them
Especially
there.
when they had Chris Paul leading the team.
They are better than all those Eastern Conference teams, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly. The Los Angeles Lakers.
Wow.
They've been in the play-in a lot.
Yeah.
They got Bronny James. They got Dalton Connect. They got JJ Redick. They got Christian Coloco. Is anything I'm saying changing your mind on what the Lakers did last season compared to this season?
No, man, they're just like definition of like an average team. Both sides of the ball,
Yep.
sort of their record. Although 47 wins is no joke, but coming in through the play-in, then losing in the first round, once again to the Nuggets. Jamal Murray, horrible first round, but hey, hit the shots when it mattered.
That's right.
I just think the Lakers need to make. I mean, look, to have a realistic championship shot in the final years, the twilight years of LeBron with AD still playing at his level, they have to make a move. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is, but they ain't winning it with this team. So I guess I have them as a play-in. Are they better than the Warriors is all it comes down to me.
These seem like very similar teams to me. The Warriors and the Lakers. We've changed the crews around them. They've got one really great superstar Hall of Famer and then another great Hall of Famer as well.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I think that the Warriors and the Lakers are basically the equivalent this season.
Okay. So you want to put them on the end of the playoff locks?
You want to lock them?
I don't really want to lock them.
Yeah, I have more faith in the Warriors for some reason, but then you start thinking about JJ Redick is going to play the best players right off the get-go, which didn't happen last year with Darvin Ham. They're going to start Rui Hachimura.
Yeah.
He was hurt last year, so maybe that's a good thing. But at the same time, there's guys who are already injured, and I think guys who are going to add a lot of energy to that team, like Jared Vanderbilt. And so I have them ranked a little bit lower than the Warriors, but they are so similar. I do agree. Because they were extremely healthy last year when you think about. I know these role guys like Gabe
they're
Vincent and
superstars,
Vanderbilt
yeah.
were not, but their superstars were. I got more faith in the Warriors, but TBD.
Where are you slotting them, my man?
We're putting them in the play-in hopefuls.
I think
category.
that's the right move.
Yeah. It'll generate discussion online. Going to start a dialogue.
That's a good poll though. Like, who will finish with a better record, or whatever, go further, whatever. Warriors or Lakers? That's tough, man.
Yeah, we got Hornets and Bulls in the other conference. We got Warriors and Lakers
know.
here.
Even Rockets.
Very
Yeah, the
equivalent
Rockets.
teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Warriors. The Rockets will enter. You think the Rockets have a better record than the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers?
I think they'll have a better record than one of those teams.
One.
Yeah, flip a coin as to which one.
Interesting.
I think the Warriors will have the best record of the three.
Okay.
Wait, you got Rockets?
Yeah.
You got
Warriors.
All right, I'll go with the Lakers. Why not? Yeah, sure.
Okay, fine.
Who's getting that 9th seed?
Yeah, right.
Kind of what it comes down to. The Memphis Grizzlies throw out last season. It didn't really happen.
Chuck it out.
Yeah, well, they went 25 games?
Yeah, 27.
27 games.
Yeah.
Okay, that was 9 games of Ja Morant. Everybody else got hurt on this team.
Yep.
Literally everybody.
They had the worst offensive rating in the league.
Yeah.
They played,
30th.
They played the most players ever for a season.
Right.
33 players.
Right.
It's a lot.
They played so many guys that Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams Jr. became the household names for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
And Scottie Pippen Jr., but that's just because we already knew his name.
That's right. Spelled differently, though.
Spelled differently. Spelled the way it was originally supposed to be
right.
spelled.
That's right.
Are you locking in the Grizzlies as a playoff team? Or is that a little bit of a healthy bump? I mean, that would be 20 more wins.
Yeah.
Seems feasible considering their injury problems last season, but when the Grizzlies were a top 2 seed in the Western Conference, the Western Conference wasn't quite as strong as it was, or is it going to be this season?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
This is the wildest of wild card teams,
Yes.
man. It is.
It is. I ain't buying in at this point.
Yeah.
I think, yes, of course, you look a couple of years ago, the Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. teams were fantastic, but the West is tougher, as you said. Mm-hmm. And the injuries, I don't think are fake. Like, I think they could happen again because they already have. And a couple of the guys and the role players, the names that you said we learned of last year, they're already hurt.
Yeah.
So
Marcus Smart barely played it all last year too, right?
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And he's getting older, and he has thrown his body around, and he's like, a guy I'd think of when you say like Tibbs overplays guys like Marcus Smart. He played hard throughout his career. So I do think that's potentially a problem. There are a lot of guys. Desmond Bain missed half the season last year. The guy who played the most was 66 games, and that was Jaren Jackson Jr. did, and maybe they sat him for a few extra just because. But there's a lot of injuries there. So that combined with the Western Conference and how tough it is, I'm fine just putting them in the play-in hopefuls, which is it's tough. But
it's tough, but teams got to be down there.
Yeah, there's got to be 4 teams in the play-in.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I kind of think you're right. Because, I mean, you're talking about Marcus Smart. He's their best wing player. They have no other wings on this team.
No, not really. I mean, Desmond Bain is obviously a scorer, but he's not.
He's small and he's got shorter arms than me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's
And Marcus,
flying man. Those are short arms. You went like this. Where
I went like this.
That's Desmond Bain's short arms.
I went like this.
Oh, they're tiny arms, man. He doesn't have a big wingspan.
T-Rex arms.
Yes,
you
he
get him on
does.
the Raptors. That'd be great.
Oh, that's a penguin. That looks like a penguin to me.
This is a penguin.
That is a penguin.
Okay.
Those are just simply short arms, okay?
This is T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Yeah.
And if they're sticking to the side, it's Desmond Bain. Obviously.
Yeah.
I think they should be a playoff lock, but I think play-in hopeful is probably about right.
You almost got to add the Grizzlies to that poll that we just had, hypothetically talking out. Who is going to be the best team of Warriors, Lakers, Rockets, and Grizzlies in the regular season? Wins.
Okay.
That's tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
They don't have any
Pull
wings.
it up, baby.
Pull it up, baby. Early voting starts in Atlanta today. Am I right? Is today October 15th?
Tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow. I'll be at early voting.
All right.
Yeah, never you go on the first day of early voting because everybody's like, oh, yeah. I can't wait to vote. That's really busy.
Kind of counterproductive, actually, huh?
Yeah,
Go the second day.
Thursday or
The
Friday.
second day of early voting. Okay.
That's what I've heard.
Okay.
But
The
there's- Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
The Minnesota Timberwolves, they made a conference finals last year.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns, he's gone. Julius Randle, he's in. Donte DiVincenzo, he's also in. Rob Dillingham is here.
Hell yeah.
My dad told me Terrence Shannon Jr., Dark Horse, Rookie of the Year pick.
Jeez.
I was like, that's a nice one,
It's a
Steve.
deep cut, Steve.
Steve cuts deep. Final Four flirt for the Timberwolves? Or are you saying last year, not so much a fluke, Anthony Edwards, he's getting better. See you in the finals.
Yeah, I'm going that route. I'm saying that they are a contender.
Woo!
I think with the way the Western Conference is, and again, I already regret not putting the Mavs in this status as a contender, but I think there's going to be, when you look at it, I think there are a decent amount of contenders in the Western Conference that are real, but you can't say they are the one like the Boston Celtics. I think the Mavs, Wolves, Nuggets, and Thunder could be there, but are you sold on one of them making it through? No. So I don't know. I would sort of jumble them all in together. But the Wolves, yeah, I think it does matter that Anthony Edwards he's a leader, and I think it's saying already that him and Julius Randle are buds. I think that bodes well. I think they're into it. They're into it.
How much can Julius Randle, Donte DiVincenzo, more Naz Reid, more from some of their young guys in Dillingham and stuff like that, boost their offense? Because they're the best defensive team in the league. Maybe they don't finish number 1 overall, but you'd be shocked if they're not top 5 if Rudy Gobert is playing and McDaniels and the guys they have. So that's the cue to me. And then, of course, matchups in the postseason, but they're going to be an elite team. Does Anthony Edwards go next level? I mean, this guy's already at, second team All-NBA? Mm-hmm. So is he trying to knock off SGA or Luka? I know there's no positions anymore, but to get his way into wow, that guy's a top 5 player. Is he already there?
Yeah.
Title contender. It's tough for me to go. I have to almost put them where we have the Knicks because they changed their team. Karl Anthony Towns was pretty damn important to that team. As much as you at times want to pull your hair out when he would get his second foul early, but
and he would sit.
Yeah.
And other guys had to perform. So you're asking basically, is Naz Reid Donte, DiVincenzo, and Julius Randle. These guys who are going to have to play more to fill in what Karl Anthony Towns was.
Yeah.
Are they good enough?
Yeah, they might
is
be.
Sort of the question to me.
But it's a Q. So I got him as a Final Four flirt at the top of the list.
The tippy top ahead of the Knicks?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I also think they're a Final Four flirt. I don't really believe a team that starts Gobert and Randall can win the championship. That's not a front court that wins a championship to me.
Right,
but
right.
I think they got a chance.
Okay.
The New Orleans Pelicans. This is a tough team to figure out because they're telling me Herb Jones is starting at center. I don't believe you.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I simply do not
You just
believe
think
you.
that Willie Green straight up lying to your face?
Well, I
Or
mean,
Griffin?
maybe they'll call him the 5. But guess what? Herb Jones, the reason he's such a good defender is because he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league.
True.
So now you're having him guard the rim. I don't know about that. I just think this is a team that's going to look different at the end of the season as the beginning of the season. I think the smart thing to do is probably play in hopeful, but talent-wise, they could be better than the Warriors, I think.
Yeah, 49 and 33 last year. You know, put up a fight in the first round. They got swept, but there were some really early close games. At least the first one. Did they lose that in overtime?
Maybe.
Yeah,
There was
close.
one close game, yeah,
And
I think.
surprisingly, they were like a really good defensive team last year. And now they bring in DeJounte Murray. I know he's not like a lockdown defender, and it's probably overblown actually what he can give you on that end. But like, upgrade there. Zion looks like a beast. It's really, to me, like, how are all parties going to handle this Brandon Ingram trade rumor and situation? Like, I mean, not only him, and does it affect him at all, but the rest of the team, and obviously the trickle-down effect on minutes and stuff like that. It's like a bit of a weird cloud hanging over them, but maybe they come out of the gates super hot and it doesn't matter. And it's like everyone's like, oh, we're good. Let's just roll with it. We'll worry about whether or not we pay him down the line. Let's just get Zion into a playoff series for the first time in his career. But I don't know if they're better than the Warriors.
I don't either. Because it may take a little time to get right. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
And I know the Golden State Warriors have a bunch of new players, but I just feel like they're going to run a lot of the same stuff Steve Kerr wants to run. I think they'll be better right from the get-go. And so that hurts in this Western Conference, especially because there's just so many good teams. So
you see the Pels coming out of the gate a little slow. Because they've got DeJounte and...
They don't know who they're going to start Herb Jones at center. They were a great defensive team. You got to start a center to be a great defensive team. And
Their center's on the Wizards and the Hawks.
Yeah, but I would rather play
Theis
Daniel
starts,
Theis.
He's 6'8".
Yeah, but at least
might as well play Herb Jones at that point.
They should do a trade. I mean, they should have done a trade this summer.
Yeah, I still believe in Theis. They need a center. That's for sure. I can't believe Daniel Theis is 6'8". But yeah, he plays a little larger.
Haunted.
They just checked it.
I did. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Because he played center for Germany, guards guys from the perimeter on. But yeah, it is an interesting one. I guess they're going to try Herb Jones at center, but nobody knows what this team is as we sit here. So I think it's fairly easy to put them in. I would lock them in. But.
A lucky boy.
They got a lot of guys. They just have too much talent not to, even though it's going to take them a little while.
It's, to me, just like, how much do you believe in Zion playing? And
He's sweet.
He's
a
awesome.
sweet
Like,
guy.
he could really take the jump this year, sort of into, like, you start including him in the conversation of, like, one of the better players in the league. I think we're there. And I don't want to jinx anything. I'll knock on wood here that he doesn't get injured. But
So if he's kicking it,
yeah, they're playoff lock.
they could win 2 playoff series and be a Final Four flirt. I mean, if he's locking it, if he is very much a different player.
Well,
But,
I can't go that far.
No, I wouldn't put him there now. But I just mean, when I debated it, I definitely thought about that.
All right. There'll be a playoff lock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not?
At the end
Looks
there?
good. Looks interesting. People are like, the Pelicans a lock? Are you crazy? They got Daniel Theis as their starting center. That's what people will say to us. And we'll say, but Zion.
Yeah.
He's going to be healthy this year. He's going to make it to the playoffs.
They did lose some defensive-minded guys, didn't they? Even like Dyson
All of their
Daniels,
defensive guys, yeah.
Larry Nance sort of contributed.
They had such a weird thing last year. It was like if they played Valanciunas, they got all the rebounds but couldn't defend.
Yeah.
But if they played Larry Nance Jr., they played defense and couldn't get any rebounds.
Yeah.
So now they decided, you know what? We're doing neither.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Herb Jones is starting.
We don't want to
Let's
play.
get wild.
We don't want to guard the rim or rebound. We got Daniel Theis.
But maybe
he was great for
they have that
Germany
move.
2 seasons ago.
Maybe they have that move in them, that Ingram move.
Yeah, they got to move. They got to move to make no doubt about it. OKC Thunder, are you willing to call them a title contender?
Yes.
First seed in the Western Conference last year. They got Isaiah Hartenstein. They got Alex Caruso. Josh Giddey is gone. They've won one playoff series together.
That's right. That's right.
But I think they're a title contender as well.
If you think they're going to win or flirt with 60 wins, and I think once you hit 60 win status in either conference, you're legit, or you at least have a chance to go all the way. So yeah, I think they will, and I think they're a title contender.
I agree.
Put them there.
Yeah, they got better, and I think Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren will take another step, and so yes, I'm fine, and I'm fine having more title contenders in the West than you guys tend to be. I assume because. Who are we putting there now? If we've got,
it's full.
I think Trey says the 3 teams.
So there's 3 teams. Those are my 3.
And my gut says he's not putting the Spurs or Blazers or
so you're
Jazz there or whatever.
So you're saying OKC is a guaranteed finals team?
No,
if they're the only title contender.
Well, the Denver Nuggets are also up there.
Oh, they are. Yes. So that's your conference final.
No.
Okay,
I mean, it depends on the bracket. It all depends on the bracket. But I do think those for me are the 3 teams. One of those 3 teams will win the championship this year.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. Who will this? Well, I was going to ask you both, but I guess it's sort of starting lineup for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I was going to then ask you who will be closing, and I know that might be dependent on who they're playing. What does it look like though? Just talk it out. SGA obviously, J-Dub, and Chet Holmgren. Those are your 3. Yes. I think both starting a game and ending a game. Dort starting over Caruso. Yeah. I mean, he's been their starter.
I think Dort is a lock, and then the question is depending on
who's the
Hartenstein or Caruso.
Right.
To me,
that's fascinating.
Dort, you don't think Dort's going to start?
I think Dort's going to start. I think he's deserving to at least continue to start for sure on a 57-win team, and he's like was at times obviously right there with Caruso as one of the best defenders. We saw what he did with Brandon Ingram. He put him in the torture chamber there for a couple of games. So I'm just curious, Hartenstein and Caruso, and they have shooters obviously. Yeah.
I think it's Hartenstein. I think Caruso will come off the bench.
Okay. So do I. They're pretty small if they start Caruso and Dort.
Yeah,
that's what he's there for.
Yeah. Dort's not as big, tall as maybe. Yeah, I think
broad. He's broad.
Yeah,
he's shaped like a refrigerator.
That's right.
The refrigerator, Lou Dort. We haven't used that nickname for a while. Time to bring it back. The Phoenix Suns. I think we had them in the title contender tier last year. Whoops.
Yeah.
They got swept in the first round of the playoffs. They're better this year. I have to think. They got 2 of the best backup point guards in the league. One of them's probably going to start. They drafted some guys, Ryan Dunn, who just had a nice preseason game, Oso Ighodaro, who maybe would get some minutes. If Nurkic were to go down, Grayson Allen has big old biceps this year. He's jacked after being a great 3-point shooter for this team. He's probably coming off the bench now, assuming that Tyus Jones is going to start, because I think that was part of the reason he signed with the Suns, right? You're getting a starting job. Cool. So the Phoenix Suns, you got them a playoff lock. You got a Final Four flirt? You feeling crazy?
Oh, man.
Were the Olympics that influential to you, Skeets? They were to me. Devin Booker doing it all. Man.
I am always a sucker for the Suns and the Kings. I don't know what it is. Purple. I always talk myself into them being better. Maybe it's the purple, yeah.
It's the purple.
The color of royalty. So, were we a year off last year?
You're too early.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it went poorly, and obviously Vogel's out, but nobody could stay healthy. And okay, the natural progression will be to we'll bump them down here. We'll play it safe, is what I'm saying. We'll just play it safe. Put them in the playoff lock. Put them in the middle somewhere. But I say, why don't we get ballsy? Why don't we believe and keep them there as a Final Four flirt? Because this team is good.
Yeah, I'm fine doing that.
Yeah, I like a flirt too. I'm fine.
I thought that was going to take
No, we had a championship contender last year. I think they were better than you remember. It felt like they never had Beal, Durant, or Booker playing together. even though they all played like a significant amount of games. I think they played 50 games basically together.
Right.
And when they were together, they were pretty solid.
Yeah.
But the thing with the Suns, especially last season, was they were so shallow that everybody said, what if these guys get hurt? It's not going to go well. These guys all got hurt, and it didn't go well. They never had a chance to really bond from a chemistry standpoint and figure out how to play together. So you had Beal just standing in the corner and waiting, especially come playoff time. He seemed like he just didn't really know where to be for this team. I have to assume that they're a little bit more bought into Mike Budenholzer, and I only say that because I heard Kendrick Perkins saying that Kevin Durant was really upset with Frank Vogel last year. You didn't hear that at all during the season, but it makes you think maybe some stuff was going on behind the scenes. If that's ironed out, Budenholzer is a good coach, a good offensive coach. He's going to get this team shooting more threes. I like him as a Final Four flirt.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. They are going to be a better regular season team. I think Bradley Beal will be a better player in the postseason because he doesn't have to guard the best player on the other side and be point guard. Like, they will be better. Tyus Jones, just bring up the ball, okay? Let Booker, Durant, and Beal shoot it. Let me reorder those last names. Booker, Beal, and Durant. BBD. I like that. Belle Biv DeVoe. Just to reference Belle Biv DeVoe. But yes, I think you can. I think you can say this team can win 2 playoff series.
Yeah.
I know it's early. After what happened last year. They didn't know where to go on offense. They literally were just standing there on the offensive end. They didn't know what to do.
They had a very similar season to sort of the Bucks in the Eastern Conference. Like, you're sort of shocked when you say they won 49 games. You're like, wow, well, yeah, that's actually not bad. But obviously, they both had really pretty spectacular sort of flameouts in the first round. Different reasons, I get that, with Giannis being injured. But yeah, I believe, I'm a Bud believer, Coach of the Year, Tyus Jones, Monte Morris, never turn the ball over. And can their defense, when the jumpers aren't falling, because they love a 2-point shot, can it keep them in games? Can it improve a little bit? Yeah. They were 13th overall. It's actually not brutal under Vogel. They have to be around that sort of top 10 mark. They don't have to be the best, but they got to be competent enough. And we'll see.
You're talking offensively.
No, I'm talking defense.
What were they on offense?
10th.
They should be higher than 10th.
Yeah, 10th on offense, 13th on defense.
Yeah, this team should be in the top 5 offensively. They got Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Yeah. That's a great start for a top 5 offense right there.
And another guy who scored 30 a game.
Exactly, yeah. They should be better on both sides of the ball. They should get a new coach this season.
Hey, random thing about the Suns, just a little random fact for you guys. Kevin Durant needs 1,076 points to eclipse 30,000 in his career. Okay. He would become just the 8th player in NBA history to do so.
Oh, he's going to do that.
He'll probably do it by late January, maybe early February.
50
probably,
games.
if he stays healthy.
No
joining LeBron, Kareem, Karl Malone, Kobe, Jordan, Dirk, and Wilt. So KD will very likely be joining the 30,000 point club. That's pretty cool.
Excellent.
Points are cool.
Love points. Number 1 favorite stat.
Wow.
Yeah, but one thing you brought up, Trey, when we were doing the Western Conference previews, you said Yusuf Nurkic may not be healthy all year, and I think that plays a part. You said, "Hey, this team should have got a new coach to be a better offensive team." Vogel just somehow got Yusuf Nurkic and everybody else to play great defense. He did good at that end.
They were okay. Yeah.
He's a good defensive coach.
Yeah, and so they got that. But Yusuf Nurkic missed his time too. He didn't last year. So who's going to be their big man? Being able to do a lot. If he gets
the Plum Dog.
He will. Yep, he'll do that.
Hey, if you like Daniel Theis, you got to like Mason Plumlee.
Nah.
That's a rule.
They were both backup centers for the
That's a
Clippers.
goddamn white guy rule.
Just imagine these guys going at it in practice to see who can back up Ivica Zubac.
Give me Theis. Give me Theis backing up Zubac.
Legendary moments. How long do you think a game of one-on-one between Daniel Theis and Mason Plumlee would take? 40 minutes?
Playing to 11?
Yeah.
I think you undervalue Daniel Theis's offensive ability.
Oh, Plumlee would cook him.
Yeah, I think.
Nah.
Yeah, Plumlee all spins and stuff like that.
We got some good questions.
I think it would take a while, though.
That's an awesome matchup. Plumlee versus Theis one-on-one. We're doing it next time we play NBA 2K.
Plumlee's actually...
good call.
Plumlee, unlike Theis, is actually a big guy, isn't he?
Yes, he's like taller. I don't know.
6'10".
6'10".
250.
A little taller.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, the other guy plays like a wing. Stop that, Mason.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
The Portland Trail Blazers. Poor season. They traded Malcolm Brogdon. He gone.
Yep.
Denny Avdia. He's here. They also
good.
drafted Donovan Clingan.
Yeah.
You have to imagine the defense will be better for the Portland Trail Blazers, but I think they're going to be our first Western Conference representative in the flag-seeking race.
Wow, we don't have one down there yet.
Yeah,
they got
not yet.
21 and 61 last year. How much do they improve, if any, this year? Yeah, like I don't think anybody sees them winning 10 more games than they won last year in the loaded West.
So it'll be tough.
Yeah, but I just want to see, can Scoot Henderson start this season like he ended last year? And it was super small sample size theater, but he looked really good in April.
April. Okay.
In 7 games in April, he averaged basically 20, 10, 3.5 boards, and he shot 42% from 3. This is Scoot Henderson. That's good.
Almost 10% of the season.
Right. Thank you.
I'm trying to help. Yeah.
Thank you. So can Scoot, start a lot stronger than he started last year?
Yeah, I wish it was March too, because you start thinking about those games. A lot of times guys who don't end up having great careers were, they're amazing when it was all said and done.
Know.
You're Walter Hermans.
You're not ready to write off Scoot Henderson, though.
He's
come on.
Baby. Yeah,
Played 62 games, this guy.
Yeah, it was really weird to see him immediately start his rookie season. Chauncey Billups said, "You're the starter."
Yeah.
And that hurt. And that hurt things in the flow.
So
he was like the number one guy.
Yep.
But you'd hope it would be better.
That's right. He did start the first 5 games, then he was out with injury. And then when he came back, he was coming off the bench for a majority of it, and then he got back to the starting role. But yeah. Anyway, look, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the Western Conference.
Not a question. But it will be a fun mess to watch, I think. Just because there are so many guys.
Yeah, they got too many guys for me. I think they need to make some moves here. We need to see Simons should probably go. Jeremy Grant should probably go. I just think that they are better used on another team, and there are so many young guys on the Trailblazers. Like, Scoot needs an opportunity to see if he's actually good or bad, but that's kind of the case with Shaedon Sharpe as well, and they're both behind Anthony Simons. There are ways to get them all on the court at the same time, but you would like to see what Scoot and Sharpe are completely capable of. Like, Klingen's going to have to play minutes. They want to be better on defense, but that means DeAndre Ayton is playing less minutes. I don't really think they could trade him right now. So Grant makes more sense. Simons makes more sense. And if those two go out, the team gets even worse.
Well, you were talking about the Pelicans. They need a center, right?
Yes.
Blazers have a lot of centers. Especially if they're leaning into Klingen being their big guy for the future.
Okay.
A couple of the big guys there. I know Robert Williams. I know Time Lord's never healthy. That's an issue, but hey, Pelicans and Blazers have done a trade before.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Yeah, it'd be hard to match all that money that Ayton makes. With the way that the Suns have said HBS has already paid so many guys. Like, I don't think the numbers would work. I don't know for sure with the Suns.
I'm talking about the Pelicans.
Oh, whoa! I've already gone to the Suns.
I think Ishbia probably did write the first check though for DeAndre Ayton's big contract.
Yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, the Pelicans definitely need a center. I do like what Portland is starting to do by starting to look like, okay, it's the future thing now. We got Deni Avdija here. It's not like we're trying to win right now, but maybe a few years down the road. So I do think the Simons and Grant trades are...
Think they're around the corner?
That's a possibility. Okay. Yeah, more so than Ayton probably. But
all right.
Klingen's there. Klingen's got to play one day. He'll be the backup, I guess, because Robert Williams is always hurt.
3 teams left.
Sacramento Kings. Are they going to be a play-in hopeful or a playoff lock? We mentioned they were in the play-in tournament last year. They were the 10th seed, or were they the 9th seed? My notes are down. Nonetheless, they were the 3rd seed the year prior, even though they won basically the same amount of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they smacked the Warriors in the play-in.
And then lost to the Pels.
Yeah.
Yep. So they were the 10th seed. Were they a home team in that game against the Warriors? I can't remember. They crushed them. It doesn't matter.
They crushed them.
Yeah.
And then they lost.
And they added DeMar DeRozan.
DeRozan.
Jordan McLaughlin. They lose. Harrison Barnes is the main guy, so they lost a bunch of other guys. Davion Mitchell, stuff like that. Other pieces. But out of their core, they're the same team.
Yeah.
Just DeRozan in there.
And they've won 48 and 46 wins the last 2 seasons, so they're a solid team. And you add DeMar DeRozan. They seemingly learned how to play defense last year after being a really good offensive team, so maybe they put it all together this year. I know people are questioning their defense, but it's hard to say that they're going to lose more games than they did last. Like, they are still in that realm of 46, 47, 48, 9 win team. So does that equal a lock in the Western Conference? I think so. I think it's a lock for me.
Can the Kings ever sniff a top 10 defense? They were 14th last year, so they were above average, just above average. They have not finished in the top 10 on defense since 02-03.
Good Kings teams back
Good
then.
Kings team.
Good
That's
team.
right.
Good
They were second in the league on defense.
Doug
they were
Christie.
one game away from the conference finals that year, but it's been a very long time. Just top 10. Not even top 5. Not even the best.
Not even the best.
Just be competent on that end. Help your offense win some games when it maybe like goes away at times. That's what the defense keeps you in games, but yeah.
I know you like Mike Bibby a lot. Have you listened to him on some podcast?
The answer's no.
What podcast is he on?
You tell me. I don't know.
Well, you got to see it. At least you see it on Twitter and then move on. But anyways, he's doing
The
it.
Bibby Banter podcast.
He has his own podcast.
I don't know if he's on one or not.
Get ready for
Mike's
a
Mike.
1-star review, baby. No, I don't know.
Maybe babbling.
But like I said, like the Suns, I always talk myself into the Kings, and I generally regret it. But they're a playoff lock to me. Dog.
Yeah.
Wow. You're both saying playoff luck.
See,
I disagree.
You
but,
disagree?
Oh, a hopeful. You think they're going to be a hopeful?
Yeah.
So you think they're in the Grizzly, Laker, Rocket sort of
Yes.
area?
Yeah, I think more of the Grizzlies side of things, if I'm being honest. I think they could maybe be the top of the play-in hopeful tier to me.
Okay.
But I actually feel the opposite about defense, surprisingly. I think they should not
Just
worry about being
lean
good on
into
defense and just be good on offense.
Yeah.
Their team was awesome when they only cared about offense.
Yeah, I believe in the Keon being a starting guard and helping that out this year because he'll do that for the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Keegan Murray is a really good defender. And you just have the professionalism of DeMar DeRozan. Does that make you a better defensive team? No, but I think it makes a better locker room. And so I'd lock them in.
Okay.
Okay, lock at the back.
Lock at the back.
Sure.
Cool. The San Antonio Spurs. Controversial.
Yeah, we disagreed with this
they're
one.
gonna be great.
Yeah.
Many are saying they're a team that should make play-in noise. But it's a crowded Western Conference.
Right.
So what? What are you going to do? They got Harrison Barnes. They got Chris Paul. Unfortunately, it's 2024, not 2016.
Got their pick, obviously. Castle, they're high on. Number 4 pick. But, yeah, they were a 22-60 team last year. They lost 1 million games in the clutch. We went over that. That's
Yep.
where Barnes and Chris Paul should help, sure.
Yes.
And obviously another year of Wembanyama. But, like, how much will that help? Does it get them into the play-in? Hopeful tier to you.
It's a tough tier to aspire to be a
Tier.
play-in
TT.
hopeful. Dreams of
Yeah.
being a play. Yeah, they are. In that we hope we're decent.
They are hoping for it.
They're hoping.
If they
Chris
were
Paul
in
gonna
the
be there
Eastern Conference, no problem. But
Yeah.
we got to remember it's taken 45 plus probably wins to get into a play-in spot.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like that's
Yeah.
what it was last year, right? 46,
Yes.
47 win teams were in the play-in.
Yeah, that's a good way to put
So
it.
like, man, that is they're doubling up their wins from last year.
Yeah, but I think you could have them leading the Flagg group.
The leaders of the
Oh,
flag?
yeah, I'm there with you.
Yeah.
All right, lead it up.
Because I told
That's
you
about
one of my
it.
lock was under 36.5 wins
Nice.
for them. So yeah, that's where I have them. Yeah, sure.
What you got, Spurs or Hornets? Just kidding. Don't answer that. Do not answer that. Our final team, it's the Utah Jazz. They're always good.
Not too many excited people other than
I
I
Trey.
know. I felt like we needed to get hyped up
That's
here. We're
nice.
nearing the
Thank
end
you.
of the podcast.
Thank you.
I don't know if our Finnish listeners are still tuned in, but they're excited about Lowry Markkanen. I'm just trying to do something for the rest of the basketball fans out there by saying their name cool.
Yeah.
Utah Jazz, always good in the first half of the season, trade a bunch of guys. Poopsies in the second half of the season.
Will they do it for a third
Yeah.
straight season? Will they overperform a little too well early and then say, hey, we gotta slow this down. You sit down, or we move this guy, or whatever. That'd be hilarious if they do it again.
That would be awesome.
It's possible
Yeah.
too. I mean, really. I am a Flagg Seeker.
Okay.
I really think they're going to lean into playing their young guys, and I think they should see what you got with some of these guys. They have a lot of young guys, young talent there, and be bad and take a crack at winning one of these really incredible players in this loaded draft. So I'm a Flagg Seeker.
Yeah, they really did that last year. I totally forgot that Darius Baisley played for their team. New Balance sponsored Darius Baisley played for their team. Yeah, they went for it, and they're going to do it again. Jordan Clarkson has to be extremely tradable. Colin Sexton, same thing.
Yeah.
Lauri Markkanen was working out with Keontae George in Finland. It's time to go that direction. It's time to try it out. Yeah, the younger guys got to play.
Ahead or before the San Antonio Spurs?
I'm behind them.
Okay.
Oh man,
I like it.
I might even go lower.
See, if they're playing all their guys, it would be different. They would.
Yeah, I know, but
because they're a decent team when Lowry's playing and the old guys are and John
There,
Collins is playing.
I like where Trey just put them. In the lower tier, the last tier, Flagg Seekers, Spurs, Bulls, Jazz, Pistons, Blazers, Nets, Wizards.
They got a lot of kids.
I don't mind
They're going to play Williams, Collier, Hendricks,
Oh yeah,
Filipowski, Senzabaugh.
they're not going to
Super young.
stop anyone.
No.
The defense is going to be bad again. It was the worst last year, so
That's a good spot.
yeah, it's a good spot. But they should be bad. There it is, all 30 teams.
Beautiful.
Okay, let's take a look at it. Here are the tiers. I'll read them out for the podcast listener. So our S tier, title contenders. We only have 3. Trey Kirby says only one of these teams is going to win a title.
That'll be wrong, but it feels good today.
I like it. It's Celtics, it's Thunder, it's Nuggets getting up there. Whoa. We got final 4 flirts. In order, we have the Wolves, Knicks, having just traded with each other, their main guys. We got the Mavs there, the Sixers, the Bucks, and the Suns. Playoff locks. A lot of Eastern Conference teams ahead of those Western Conference teams because, sort of easier, it feels like. Cavs, Magic, Pacers, Heat, and then Warriors, Pelicans, Kings. Play-in hopefuls. This is where we flip then. It goes all Western Conference teams. Grizzlies, Lakers, Rockets, Clippers. And then we go to the East. Hawks, Raptors, Hornets. Oh, the Buzzsaw Hornets getting up there. And then the final one I already said, but it's the Flagg Seekers. It's the worst of the worst here, we think. Spurs, Bulls, Jazz, Pistons, Blazers, Nets, Wizards. Anything you want to change there, Tass? I know I guess you didn't like where we had the Mavs.
Yeah. My heart says there's more contenders than that. I guess it's all about. I know we did this 2 years ago. I missed last year's.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we were debating what defines a contender. But if you're saying Trey's definition, this is his game. So I'm okay with it.
It's Trey's game.
Yeah.
So, okay, any complaints or issues at Trey Kirby on
You're saying a contender has
Twitter?
to be a title
with
winner.
this.
So you're saying the Wolves, the Mavs, the Thunder, those are the main 3 ones I would say. Can't win the title.
Well, hold on. The Thunder are in title contenders.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeez. Who did I miss? Wolves,
I don't
Mavs.
really still get what you're asking.
Well, who's a title contender? If the Wolves or Mavs basically can make a finals
or a Final Four in the Wolves case, yeah.
No, the Wolves or Mavs are the Mavs are in the Final Four. Now we're all screwing up who's in which category. The Mavs are a Final Four team. They're not a title contender.
I don't believe they'll win the title this year. That's correct.
That's what we're defining it as.
Yeah,
now.
That makes sense to me.
Here and now.
I like that we waited to the end to do
now.
this. This is good. This is perfect. Ship it.
Perfect.
I see no problem.
So yeah, the Knicks can't win the title. The Wolves can't win the title. The Mavs can't win the title. Healthy Embiid and friends can't win the title. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'd like to see the Sixers make a conference finals before they're even in the winning a title, let alone getting there.
What about those horses, the Mavericks?
That would be the team I would be most likely to elevate to title contenders.
Because they were there.
Well, hey, I thought we went over it. The Wolves, the Knicks, and the Mavs because of the Klay Thompson, addition, and then this, the subtraction of some of their defensive-minded guys. Those are the questions that are like, I don't know, can they? Yeah, I guess, but will they? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I feel like all the Final Four flirts in the teams that we ended up with in this tier have question marks.
Yeah.
And I would say that the Nuggets have the most question marks in the title contenders, but they've also won a title.
Yes.
And they've got the best player in the league, who's the reigning MVP. So they have fewer questions.
Fewer questions than OKC. Oh, no, they have more questions than OKC, who haven't been there yet. Anyways.
We're going to write a question for them.
I know. That's why we should just make these 2 podcasts. But you're right. We're going to separate these conferences. Yeah, East and West. We're going to separate. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Done.
But the Mavericks, I took them as an under 49
Yeah, so why the hell are you trying to say they're a title contender?
Well, I know.
Pick a lane, bro.
No, I love all the lanes.
You're all over the road, man. Whoa. You're like an Atlanta driver. Passing on my right. What the hell are you doing?
No, this team is a playoff team.
I
It doesn't
agree
matter
with
what they do in the regular season. Did you see what they did last year? They still made the finals.
That's the thing. The regular season's got to account for some of this because we don't know, of course, who they're playing in playoff matchups.
I'll see you on the road. We'll see what happens out
He's
there.
the best driver I know.
You don't know any drivers then. If I'm the best driver, you know.
He's the
but
most confident
driver.
driver I know.
Atlanta gets a little crazy.
Oh yeah, I wasn't embellishing.
No.
You gotta
Lock it in.
Have your head on a swivel down here, man. You gotta always expect the worst. Every car you look at, go, that person's probably on their phone. That person's probably grabbing something from the back seat.
Yeah.
So you have to. You got to.
I don't
drive
think
cautious.
I've ever exited off the highway in Atlanta without somebody swerving over from another lane.
Incredible.
They missed their exit 100% of the time.
They don't know there's another exit coming up.
76. I was looking for 76.
Yeah, and they think if you miss it, it's like you evaporate.
Yep, you can't do it.
It's like there's another one. It'll get you back there. Oh my God, dangerous times. We did it. Did you take the over for 90 minutes? You were wise to do that. But hey, under 2 hours, baby. Ha ha. Balmer style.
Balmer cam.
Grab your legs. Grab your friend's legs.
Grab your
Oh,
friend's
I didn't know
legs.
you were wearing shorts. I thought you had
It
pants
is
on.
weird, yeah.
I was like, damn, I'm touching his skin. All right, let's call it there. Tell us where we're wrong. Get in the comment section. Who do we have too high? Who do we have too low? Do it yourself. We can make that available, can't we? The No Dunks tier maker thing?
Maybe.
Oh.
I think we can.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. We're back on Wednesday for our final part of our NBA season preview series. It'll just be me and Tass and Ash filling in. JD headed to the Big Apple. Trey headed to the Big Noog. Where are you going?
Big Noog.
Chat-
Oh, I'm going to the Scenic City.
What's that?
Chattanooga. Apparently that's what they call it.
Big Scenic.
Yeah, the Scenic City. It's the only one in the United States.
It's very beautiful. So Tass and I will be here with Ash on Wednesday. We'll do some burning questions, or remaining burning questions, about the upcoming seasons. That'll be a lot of fun. That's on Wednesday. Again, go check out that great video that Tass and JD did talking about Vince Carter's Hall of Fame career. It's up on our YouTube channel. It's up on a lot of our social media channels as well. But appreciate you joining us. Until next time, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, Canada, happy Turkey Day.
Brace the day, people.